Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Scorpio for December 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, to see my wealth of resources for you there, including the link for my readings. I am off of sabbatical, and I am available for live readings again, so you can book on my website, anniehelpsyou.com. So what's going on in the month of December? We have this brilliant wrap up to this retrograde focused year. A lot of finishing up old business and preparing for an amazing new year. Very often, the astrological transits in a new year will make it feel not like a new year. And I talk about that when we have those years. But this year is not like that. This year is going to feel like a true new year. December is going to feel like a very true wrapping up of old business and really stepping forward into brilliant new opportunities. The cloak of the retrogrades for many people has slowed some things down, but you could have been very productive in the backdrop or laying groundwork. And so now as December moves on, every week in December, we're getting more and more out of the retrograde energies. By the end, we're completely done. And actually, we're setting ourselves up here with this movement away from the retrograde energies for this big opening in January of the all of the planets being direct, including the outer planets. So it's a very rare period of time. So you'll feel that in December, just this kind of like wrapping up, getting ready, ramping up. Something else that's very notable for December is that eclipses are coming. And so yes, we're in eclipse season again, and eclipses can bring dramatic trajectory changes, brilliance coming to fruition of things worked on, dramatic endings, exciting new beginnings. And even though the eclipses are in January, we have to talk about them in December because we can feel those 4 to 6 weeks before. So even in November, people might start feeling those. But December is a very hot spot, prime time for eclipse changes to start coming in. So since there are 2 eclipses in January, how I usually like to do this is break down one report for one of the eclipses and then do another report for the other. So December, we're going to talk about where the first eclipse is going to hit for Scorpios in the early, middle, and late degree placements. And then in January, we'll talk about where the second eclipse is going to hit for Scorpios. And I always have them out a month early, so even the January report will be out in December. So you'll be plenty prepared for the changes in December that you might see from these January events, okay? So I had such overwhelming positive feedback for liking to have the chart visuals so that you could be learning and have a visual for the differences in the early, middle, and late degree placements, that I am going to take the time to include those in the readings now. So let's transition over to the charts and check out where these eclipses are going to hit for each of you and anything else of note. Hello, Scorpio friends. I had so much wonderful feedback from using these visual aids of the charts that I am working it into continue with the format. So if you haven't figured it out already, I am a teacher of astrology, not just a reader of astrology, and my true love lies in not only helping people understand the energies that are coming or that are present, but also to understand why and to use this amazing art and science in deeper ways. So if you're looking to hear just what's going to happen, you will hear pieces of the energetic potentials in here, of course. But I do cater to the people who want to learn more and who want to learn more about their charts and who have, want to gain more in-depth knowledge. So that's the teacher in me, okay? So just sometimes I have questions about that, or someone says, just tell us what's going to happen already. And I want to explain very clearly that I'm not going to do that because I want to explain also why. The bigger picture is very important to me, and the education component is close to my heart. Okay, so what is going on in December? Okay, we talked about some of the highlights. And now I want to show you the charts. Okay, so if you've been watching my reports for even several months, you'll see that there has been a focus on money that is relentless in the charts of Scorpio. It keeps coming up. Making more money, earning what you're worth, valuing yourself more, healing your self-esteem, buying items of value that enrich your life, or paring down and becoming more streamlined with your sustainability efforts. That is a major theme that is coming up, and here I'm going to show you why. Okay, so there are a bunch of different reasons. So first, let's establish if you are an early, middle, or late degree placement. And this can make a difference with certain timing and different manifestations in the chart, so I'm just going to explain that to you. So if you are a October born Scorpio, then you are early. Okay, and then 0 to 9 degrees of Scorpio, if you're watching for your rising or moon, is early. Middle degree placements, you're the first 10 days or so in November. Okay, and then 10 to 19 degrees if you're watching for your rising or moon. And then late degree placements, you are 11 through the rest of the sign. And 20 to 29 degrees. You're watching for your moon or rising, okay? So now that you have those designations, you'll be able to see why I've given those to you, because you can see the charts look different depending on where your placement is. And some of the manifestations won't make a huge difference, but there are cases where there are differences. So I like to point them out and to help you learn that there's more to the Scorpio chart than just one chart. Okay, so the second house is the house of earned income. It's how you feel about yourself, how that value of your self-worth translates into financial and material experience. This can also have to do with a living with the earth, garden, farming, sustainability projects, a connection to a sustainable way of living, and sometimes it can be both. Sometimes it can be high dollar sustainability, having material resources to get even more sustainable, or having no material resources and living very much directly off the land. Everything in that spectrum is in this second house, and all of these things are areas of focus that continue to be very strong for Scorpios. Okay, so we can see that from the beginning of December, the sun is already in the second house, bringing life to this focus. Wherever the sun is like a big spotlight in the chart. So there's just like this big spotlight on finances for early. And you can see right here, middle, just about to go in there. So pretty much all month is going to be accentuated from there. You can see from the late degree chart, and this is one of the things, how you can tell like there's a big difference here. Look at where the sun is at the beginning of the month for the late degrees. It still has quite a way to go before it gets into the second house. Now, you will have some long-term second house stories there for just years and years. But as far as the freshness, the bringing in, the spotlight focus, that sun's going to take a few weeks. But it will be in December. It'll just be towards the latter part of December before the sun gets into that chart. Okay. So, let's see. So then you can see, as we talked about in the November report, if you want to hear all about Jupiter in your, where it is for you, listen to my November report. But Jupiter for the early degree placements is raring, still pushing through, very happy to be in the second house, expanding everything for finances and all the things we talked about. It's not quite there yet for middle degree placements, and pretty far away still for the late degree placements. Mercury is going to be headed there as well. So you can see there's just like this party. So again, it's staggered for your late degree placements, but it'll get there. It'll just be a little bit more into December. You late degree placements still have a very strong focus on your physical body, your anything having to do with health, and you can see middle have a little bit of this too. It's really moving out for the early degree into this other arena, but middle and late degree placements, you still have this focus on your image. And this is a really great time for it, because if you've been listening to my Venus retrograde reports, I've been saying to try to hold off on some radical physical enhancements, unless they're temporary. Like if you wanted to do henna tattoos or do some light color or just something that's, easily fixable, Venus retrograde is fine for things like that. It's the big things like cutting off your 7 years worth of hair, or doing something like a body art that's not going to be easily changeable. Those are the things in Venus retrograde we wanted to kind of put off. But now at the end of December and into January and February, the stars are more clear for that. And even, so here, this energy in the first house is going to be accentuated, and you might be kind of coming back around to doing things like that and buying wardrobe items and things like that. So middle to late part of December is better for those things. And the last week of December, after the 25th, all of the Mercury retrograde post-shadow periods clear. As of December 18th, the Venus post-shadow transit is clear. So it's more of a safe zone to do those things. And there will be a lot of focus there for many of you. Okay, so now I want to talk about the eclipses. And you can guess where the eclipses are going to be highlighting. So we'll get back there to show you how it is in the chart. But first I want to talk a little bit about eclipse cycles. Okay, so eclipse cycles last around 2 years or so. So the last time we've had the Cancer Capricorn eclipse cycle that's being highlighted now was between 2009 and 2011. So think about the changes, the types of changes that happened for you in those years. Those types of changes are very likely for now. Now, if you had a terrible time then, that doesn't mean that you're going to have a terrible time now. I get that question a lot. But the types of changes, the areas of life, the kinds of major things that happened are very likely going to be brought into this experience at this time between 2018 and 2020. So the middle of 2018, we started the Cancer Capricorn eclipse cycle. In January, we have the next one in that cycle, which is a 15 degree of Cap eclipse, a solar eclipse on January 5th. And then we'll have the last of the Leo Aquarius eclipse cycle. So the eclipses that have been working, the areas of life that had to do with this third and ninth house, so like sharing information, how you share information, using information, things like that. And for some of you, it could have also been aspecting home and work very strongly. Lots of changes in home and work for your middle and later degree placements as well. Okay, so the eclipse cycles that we're leaving have been shifting how you use information, how you share information, and lots of things as far as home and family. Childhood things as they relate to now, healing things, your place out in the world, things with parents, things like that. So the cycle that we're moving into that started this summer and will be getting stronger and continuing through 2020 is going to be this Cap Cancer, and this is going to be more, still accentuating this 3rd and 9th. Okay, so you had the 4th and 10th, which was work and home. And for the early degrees, a little bit of that 3rd and 9th was starting to get aspected now. But it's really bringing 3rd and 9th into the picture for you. So moving around, teaching, learning, interacting with others in a way that is instructional and things like that is going to be highlighted. And then you can see for the Capricorn Cancer placement, so you can see over here 3rd and 9th are being aspected. But then also for middle and late, this 2nd and 8th house is really being brought into the picture. 2nd and 8th house has to do with your money versus other people's money. So you can see there too, so 2nd and 8th for middle and late, okay? So this story of your income versus your spouse's income, your money versus your family's money, borrowing money, loaning money, needing money to get started and then having that feed into your own personal money. Restructuring as it relates to your stuff and other people's stuff is a big theme that's going on, especially for middle and late degree placements. And that's over the next couple of years. Now the story of Cancer and Capricorn as it relates to everybody. Cancer and Capricorn have to do with that 4th and 10th house that I had mentioned earlier. That was a theme. Home and family, work being reshuffled, working more, working less. Things having to do with their home and family being restructured are going to be up for everybody over this time. Okay, so let's look to see exactly where this eclipse is going to be. 15 degrees of Capricorn is going to be in the 3rd house for your early degree placements. 15 degrees of Capricorn is going to be either 2nd or 3rd for your middle. And then 15 degrees of Capricorn for you late. That's going to be pretty clearly in the second house. Okay. So for middle and late degree placements, that second house, once again, is being aspected in a big way. Now, for some of you late degree placements, you've been having some of these themes, still continuing for a long time. And money has been on the minds of Scorpio people with these transits for a long time. You early guys and gals had, long-term transits going through there in the past. You middle degree placements, you still have that happening. And then now the eclipses are taking center stage, bringing new opportunities. For you early degree placements in the third house, this can have more to do with upgrading your devices, upgrading your communication style, changing how you work with information. As we're making more money and trying to do different things with work, the management of information, the sharing of information is becoming, an issue. So coming up with new ways, maybe an assistant, maybe some online automated ways to help you, maybe upgrades to your devices or how you, even your cars or things like that can be coming. Or you being more mobile, moving around more, a new opportunity with a cousin or an uncle or aunt or a family member, not specific to the parents or kids is usually the third house. So something there could be coming up. That could be very much having to do with the eclipse energies. So we do often feel those eclipses 4 to 6, even more weeks ahead of time, which of course is why we're talking about them now, because January 5th is very close to December, and you're definitely going to be seeing these things come in as a long-term theme, coming back as a hot spot. Manifestations for eclipses can happen anywhere along the years that the eclipse line is happening, but when the actual eclipses are happening twice a year, those are hot spots that tend to bring it more into the forefront, where you see very notable movement along the fronts that you're working on. Okay, so just kind of think of those themes from 2009 to 2011, see how they're starting to get reintroduced, and you can work with them at a different level. Okay, so those are the things most on my mind for Scorpios. Now let's talk about my favorite days of the month for launches. I'm sure you've been waiting for launches for a long time, so you want to hear that. And then also some other things to know about some aspects and specific dates to note for the month. Okay. So the theme of December 2018 for all signs is ready to soar. Besides Jupiter getting deeper into Sagittarius, there are other reasons why this is the month that we have been waiting for such a long time. So this is the month that the long retrograde focus is finally ending. Most of the year of 2018, we've had personal planet retrogrades back to back and coinciding with each other. So even though the retrograde influences will still linger for most of the month, you'll definitely feel the cloak of retrograde energies becoming lighter and finally being removed at the end of the month. So Mercury is direct early in the month, December 6th. This change in directions coincides with the Sagittarius new moon, which we'll also talk about. It will take until December 18th for Venus to be done with its post-shadow period. Okay, so after December 18th, the Venus retrograde energy is completely done. But every day leading up to that, it's gone more and more anyway. And then December 25th is when the post-transit Mercury shadow period completely dissipates. And then we're going to be opening up into this brilliant and very rare period in January 2019 where every planet will be moving direct. So this is a really big time. So I've got some dates to note that we're going to go into details about, but in general, this month is about breaking free, being ready to soar, having liftoff, and we will have some things to look out for, and I will go into the details of that. So in general, well, actually, before I go into the details of this month, the dates to watch, remember that you can get a more in-depth and written version of these general transits when you sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. Okay, so you get all of the general transit reports a month early, like I do all my horoscopes. via email when you sign up for my free email newsletter. So if you want to be kept up to date for your planning and have a written version, then definitely go there. Okay, so we start out the month. So here I've got our visuals. We're going to look at Venus and Uranus. Okay, so we're just kind of ignoring the rising energy. We're not focusing on houses in this reading. We're just focusing on the relationship between the planets because it's a general reading, okay? So Venus rules love and money. And whenever we have Venus opposing Uranus, we're generally in for surprises involving love and money. Sometimes they can be great surprises like a chance romantic encounter or heating up of your love life in some other way, or awesome money that comes out of nowhere, which also could coincide with having to work more, which could bring overstimulation, or just the surprise factor of money coming in can be, a little overwhelming. But it can also bring financial and love surprises that aren't welcome. So a fight with your beloved, an expense, or some other challenging financial news. Generally, the things that happen with these Venus-Uranus oppositions are quick to blow over. So if there's a fight, usually it will pass quickly. If there's a surprise with money, it usually tends to settle its way out pretty quickly. But do be aware that this transit that actually occurs on November 30th, on December 1st, is when these surprise energies are more common. And whenever I give you exact dates, remember that the transits don't always manifest as far as our experience of them on the exact date that they happen. So days before 12/1 and days after 12/1, you could experience these shocks or surprises. Okay, so that's the first thing to look out for this month. Something in general for the month of December to watch out for or to be aware of is that we've got a ton of Sag energy. This brings upliftment. This Mercury is going to move into Sag, so we've got these 3 planets moving in Sag, making aspects with each other. And I'll talk about some of the dates that are really amazing from these getting together. But the general energy of busyness, of travel, of learning, of teaching, people who are in the teaching businesses or speaking or publishing could be lighting up like the 4th of July for every sign. Anything having to do with international travel plans or long distance travel plans can be heated up here. Anything with languages, international business, anything like that. So, and in general, optimism, busyness, running around, and kind of possibly exhausting yourself, which now we move into this talk here, okay? So all these Sag energies are going to be here bringing all this busy stuff in. And then at some point, each of these are going to be making squares, 90-degree angles. Challenging, could be stressful, with these Pisces planets. So the way I always see that, and I have a very personal look at this because I have a ton of planets in Sag myself, and I tend to run myself to exhaustion. So a lot of that is going to be a theme of this month, running yourself to exhaustion. And the Pisces planets are going to be calling out for rest. Z's. You want to get more sleep and you want to get more rest. So this extroverted, busy energy is going to be competing with this sleep and rest and kind of a dreamy, artistic flow, emotional energy. So you'll see throughout the month points where those conflict. And if you take the warning to rest, you can save yourself from the overexhaustion and try to find a perfect balance, which ultimately, these 90-degree angles can help you do. So rest is going to be in order, busyness is going to be in order, and that's going to be a big theme of the month. Okay, so let's look at some other aspects here that were going to be important. So Mercury is going direct, as we said, on the 6th. So expect some awkwardness there as Mercury changes direction. And then the shadow period runs until 1225. On 1218, we have Venus post-transit shadow period finishing off. So then Venus is clear. Okay, and then on December 6th and 7th, depending on your time zone, we've got the new moon in Sagittarius. That's going to be at 15 degrees. And so new beginnings and time to make your new moon wishes in all of the areas of everything Sag, which we talked about before. Different countries, languages, cultures, teaching, learning, travel, international work, also spiritual or religious projects, writing, publishing, speaking. There's going to be an aspect with Mars and Neptune bringing an extra dreamy energy. See, Mars and Neptune are going to be together at the time of that new moon. And some things that come in may feel like they're too wonderful to be real. Very dreamy energy there. We're also going to have this time, as Mercury is still in Scorpio, trining Chiron. And that's going to be on 12/9, which is an extra sweetness, healing, solutions are more likely to roll in at that time. December 20th, mark a big star in your calendar for the days around December 20th through the 22nd. Okay, we're going to really 12/20, 12/21, 12/22. What happened there? There we go. Because on those days, first we're going to have the Sun trine Uranus, okay? So it's going to make a 120-degree angle, the most favorable in all astrology. So a boost to anything and everything. This could bring happy surprises. It's more likely to bring happy surprises. Also, Venus is making a beautiful aspect at that time with Neptune. And one of the biggest things is that this Mercury is going to come and make this conjunction with Jupiter, which very often brings enhanced luck, good news, amazing things in the areas of Sagittarius that we mentioned. And so I'm putting this day and this period of time as my favorite launch days of the month. So even though, like I had said, Mercury doesn't regain its full strength till 12/25, the days that are just before that have so much beautiful energy. So if you have to bust something out, these days could be perfect for that. There'll be more time in January and into February if you're not quite ready, but there's an amazing energy about, busting forth at this time. Okay, so on December 22nd, we have a full moon at almost 1 degree of Cancer. And there's a little challenge with Mars and also some sweet aspects working at one with Uranus. But in general, that full moon can bring lots of family awesomeness. There is a chance for a little bit of conflict with the Mars and also a Chiron aspect. But many people will have amazing family fruition, fun, emotional, mostly for the good, but there could be some little tweaks in there, but just typical holiday family awesomeness, very likely around that time. Okay, so then there are some other aspects towards the end of the month, which is, 12/28. We've got another sweet aspect with Venus. See, during this month, Venus is going to come and make a nice aspect to Saturn, and then Venus is going to make a nice aspect to Pluto. So this is going to be really good for sweetness in your relationship. This can be really great for good news involving work and money. So there are lots of great boosts involving Venus, which is perfect because we're clear of the Venus retrograde energies and everybody's pretty much raring to go. Okay, so those are the things that I most wanted to talk about for the general transits. Definitely mark those dates in your calendar for really great energies. So then we will head into January, just really with a legitimate feeling of a new year. If you've been listening to my reports for years, you know that I talk about certain Januaries because of certain transits, not really feeling like a new year. But this January is really going to feel like a new year. And all of these things in December are leading up to that open energy. So we love that. Something else that is important to note if you are a holiday shopper, that because the energies from Mercury are still strong at the beginning of the month, it actually favors last minute shopping. So the closer you're getting to the holiday times, the more energy, more clear the energy will be. Okay, so just so you have that heads up for holiday shopping, the later part, the couple of weeks before the holiday times, are best for shopping even compared to November and early December. Okay, so those are the things most on my mind for the general transits. So I hope you loved the added component of the visuals for the charts. If you would like to have my personal insights about your chart, then definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com and book a live reading. If you resonate with how I teach astrology and you want to learn more for personal or professional purposes, if you'd like to be an astrologer or include astrology as part of your professional offering, then I am going to be enrolling now, December into January, for the next run of my astrology apprenticeship program. So you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com, plus lots of other offerings there. If you'd like written horoscopes by me for your sign each month, go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. At cozybysweetstarlight.com, I will write about some things that I mention in the videos, but sometimes I talk about other stuff that I don't cover in the videos. So you get more information about what the month looks like for you, and plus great reads for each sign and lifestyle blogs by me and up-and-coming bloggers that I have on my site. If you're a traveler, then definitely check out my astrology travel reports, my monthly astrology travel reports at Astrology Kissed Travel Bliss. At astrologykissedtravelbliss.com, you get those monthly travel astrology reports plus other travel blogs and lots of beautiful pictures on all of my sites. So they're definitely something to see. If you're into tarot, you want to learn tarot, you want a tarot reading, then definitely check out my husband's work, B.R. Newman, at iamhelios.com, iamhelios.com. You can check out his amazing offerings there. So I hope you have a wonderful month and a wonderful end to your year, and I'll see you next year. Bye.